what he does best.
96.
And I'm talking about his darts, not his dancing. But even Tina, the walk-on girl on the left-hand side, had to have a glance at Ricky's dancing, and she cracked a smile. The thing about Ricky, he's absolutely mad as a boxer.
140.
But we love him for it. He's different, and anything different is good for me. I think he's starting to come into his own with his game, but I think he is showing us who he really is as well, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
I think he's starting to feel very comfortable up there, so hang on to your hats in the next couple of seasons. He might do some wacky stuff.
Yeah, finalist last year on the European Tour, finalist 3 weeks ago, losing to Daryl Gurney in the final in Hildesheim. Only 8-6 as well. He wasn't too far away in the end.
138.
Ricky Evans has got to contend with a very different opponent today. Michael Smith is very much like him, pacey, but Ted Evetts is a lot more deliberate, so he's going to have a lot more time at the back of the stage to think. He's going to have to adapt to that. And like you say, Rob, Ricky Evans has got the experience now, 2 Euro finals. He knows how to get through these last 16s. Ted hasn't done it yet. Never had the opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, two very contrasting styles. We saw it yesterday with Evetts, the cool, calm, collected approach. Tops for Evans.
Ted, you require 90.
Bent the wire. Now, 20's the target, the sensible play. Double 15, 2 cracks at the whip, potentially.
That's the danger of going that way.
That's why I said potentially. Tops for Ricky, no problem, good hold.
Second leg 10 to throw first.
Yeah, these guys have played each other a couple of times, but it hasn't been for a while. Over 2.5 years ago, they played each other twice in a month, both in qualifiers for European Tour events, and they got one each. And we're going to see a lot more Ricky in the next few weeks. He won't be in Saarbrücken next week. He lost to Gavin Carlin in qualifying, but he will be in Graz and in Sindelfingen for the events in Austria and Germany 95. Respectively, because of the fact he will be seeded.
Yes. Up to number 14 on the Pro Tour Order of Merit is Ricky Evans.
100.
Averaged only 87.5 yesterday against Michael Smith, but the thing was, the eye-catching statistic was that he restricted Smith to only 2 darts at a double. And obviously he benefited massively from some very below-par scoring by Michael Smith. I think his front 9 average was something like 75 at one point. It was
140.
Not what we've come to expect from the Bully Boy.
Be interested to see what Michael Smith's going to do on Thursday in Birmingham, because his Premier League is all but over. Double 4 for Ted Evetts, and that's a really good clean-up after the single 18. Didn't have to go for the second 18, and it was a beautiful conversion there.
134.
Ted's played 5 games up to this point. Ricky's played 4. The reason for that is because they both came through qualifying. 41. Ted had a prelim game. But yesterday, his victory against Johnny Clayton was very impressive. 93. He didn't make many mistakes, and he suffocated Johnny at points in that game. Made it very difficult for the Welshman. I think it was a very impressive performance.
Yeah, his finishing was really good. 6 from 9 on his doubles. 6-2 against the Welshman.
He hasn't been taken to the last leg decider yet in this tournament and in qualifying, Ted Evetts. The most legs that anyone's got against him was Mickey Mansell in the final qualifying game to get here. He got 4. But the other times, against Aidy Gray, he only got 2. John Worsley got 1. Mark Wilson and Johnny Clayton here in Munich only got 2 each. So he's playing comfortably.
110.
He's going to keep Hugh Ware on his toes today as Ricky Evans. There was a little smile there from Hugh. He's going to have to be well, for the want of a better word, a circulator.
$60. Ricky required 24.
Yeah, no real pressure applied there by Ted Evetts, so Ricky Evans all the time in the world on that double 12. The other impressive thing about Ted Evetts yesterday, I think he executed his game plan really well against Johnny Clayton. He was 2 apiece. Just the important thing was just to stick with him in the early stages, and he did that. And then all of a sudden in leg 5 there was a 1-2-4 checkout, and he really used that momentum and that feel-good factor to really build on there. And from that moment on, it was
140.
solid, steady. There was another 1-1-3 checkout for a 5-2 lead, and again it was that composed, measured approach. And in the end, he won 4 legs on the bounce, and it was a very stylish way to come through against the number 9 seed. Not the only casualty yesterday, seeded
83.
casualty, Johnny Clayton, of course. 7 of them fell by the wayside.
Yeah, when Ricky goes
57.
to Graz and becomes a seed for the first time, he'll start to learn the intricacies of being a seed.
Well, the biggest one is the fact that you need to win your opening match, otherwise you don't get any ranking money. That's the first very obvious hurdle that he's got to overcome, and it's damaged a few players in the past.
Absolutely right. I mean, Graz last year didn't harm Johnny Clayton. He got bumped up to 16th seed, and then after that he won the tournament. So he adjusted to it very well. But Ricky's got to play his first game in the tournament on the Saturday, and that will feel very odd. Didn't feel odd this week because he played his first game of the weekend on the Saturday.
140. Ricky required.
Yeah, it could well be a manic Monday on the European Tour.
99.
You a Bangles fan?
Require 102.
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Just another manic Monday. Might need this, Ted Evetts. Double 16.
86.
Just outside.
Ricky requires 71.
Yeah, more of an eternal flame man myself.
Double 8.
55.
They were a bit flaily, those ones. Didn't have a great deal of power behind them. And Evetts gets another poke at double 8. And he gets it.
Ted Evetts. Fifth leg Ricky to go first.
We could be watching these two go at it for years. They've got youth. Well, we know that Ricky's got exuberance. But Ted's got his own brand of exuberance. That walk-on song of his is becoming very synonymous with him.
He does look like a different character almost from the one we saw, 2-3 years ago, even on the European Tour when he first emerged. He just looks to be exuding a lot of confidence.
180.
Happy to embrace the crowd, developing a bit of an affinity with the crowd here in Germany and elsewhere on the European Tour.
Well, one way to do that is to play a song when you're walking on that they know very well and they can sing along to. He's just not missing. He's on for another one. He's got 2 this year already. Can he join MBG on 3 for the season?
Both of those were in Euro Tour qualifiers. This is on the Euro Tour stage. All the best, Ted.
The collective groan
tells its own story. Now,
109.
It's let it go.
Yeah,
Wow.
Stephen Bunting missed out on a 9-darter and in the end lost the leg against Michael van Gerwen. And Ted Evetts, if he's not careful, may well lose this leg as well, because Ricky Evans has just piled in a ton 80 and there's pressure on this double 16 for Ted Evetts.
Oh, it's
And
a
there is
difficult one.
a lot of pressure now. That has obscured a lot of the bed. He's made his way over to that right-hand side of the hockey.
Super Dart! Super Ted! Fantastic! And that is vital to take the lead.
Sixth leg Ted to throw first.
I think even Ricky Evans can appreciate that dart. That was brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, he did, in the end, effectively use those first 2 darts, but it was still very difficult to find a way through there. And he manages to come through that
97.
leg. 6 perfect darts. Was still in danger of losing it, as Stephen Bunting can testify.
108.
Maybe, though, it's Ricky Evans' turn to have a crack.
Pretty ordinary stats, wouldn't you say? Cut the sarcasm with a chainsaw. Brilliant match. They're in the zone.
Really getting going, these two now. They're bringing out the best in each other.
93.
A lot of players could have wilted under the pressure that Ricky Evans has applied in this match. But Evetts is flying on confidence at the minute. He's played some stellar stuff this season. He's using that confidence really well.
100.
Yeah, he needed to stay on 20s there, really. And he's done that very well.
98.
Sensible switch to the 18s from Ricky there, I feel, because you'd much rather be on 130 than 128. Will he get a shot at it? He will.
28.
So you get the treble on the 128, you've got to stay and hit a treble. With 130, you just need one treble, one single. Now he needs the bull.
105.
There's a pause after he threw that one. I think he thought that was in.
Well, Evetts, having broken in leg 5, is looking for a hold of throw that would give him a 4-2 lead. Can't find that treble.
56. Ricky required 25.
And Ricky Evans has been allowed back in here.
Game shot the
And it's a break back, and Ricky Evans on terms once again. Really good match between these two.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This could easily go all the way. And the two meetings they've had, it was 6-5 and 6-4, so they're very evenly matched. I remember when Ted Evetts qualified through the PDPA World Championship qualifier, he won that day. And that was the qualifier that Jamie Lewis came third and then consequently made the semi-finals of the World Championship. That day, nobody could live with Ted Evetts. He was on a different planet to everybody else.
135.
He breezed that qualifier. I've never seen anybody breeze that qualifier like he did that day. But Ricky Evans has actually gone through that qualifier too, so that's another thing they've got in common.
134.
Methinks they aren't going to need that one at the end of the year. They'll be very well positioned for Ali Pali in a few months' time.
I think that's a fairly safe assumption. Both players still averaging over 100. The reward for the winner is a quarter-final against Michael van Gerwen, who was fairly ruthless in his 6-1 demolition of Stephen Bunting.
42.
Now, Elmo was talking to Michael after his win, asked him what he was going to be doing. I guarantee he's not in the building right now. He'll be straight back to the hotel, be chilling out for a few hours, then he will go through the preparation schedule, just like he did this morning, and try and repeat it. He's done it more than anybody else. He knows what to do after playing first game.
Yeah. I've not actually broken down the numbers, but I'm pretty sure that there is maybe a correlation between Van Gerwen playing first on a Sunday afternoon and then going on to win the title.
100.
We should check that out. That's
Not a totally direct correlation, but I think there's more of a suggestion that he does benefit. I mean, he's won 29 European Tour titles anyway, so you could put him on 5 games on a row and he'd probably still come through.
Double 16 for Evetts. Gets him that break again, and he retakes the lead. After a great setup from Ricky, it's going to take a moment of brilliance or a big mistake from somebody to edge this game. You can barely tell them apart. It'd be interesting to see, out of the 29 that he's won, how many times he has played first in the afternoon or last, because the number 1 seed plays in one of those two positions. There may have been times where he's won them where he hasn't been first or last. More than likely at the start of his European career.
Yeah. Well, we know just the man who could maybe look into that one for us.
100.
I can hear the clickety-click of keyboards around the world.
58.
Well, we've had back-to-back, or 3 consecutive breaks of throw now in this match. Evetts with a 12-dart break and a 14-dart break. In the ascendancy once again. And this time he's looking to consolidate this position of strength.
137.
What I like about the way that these young lads play is that they're very, very easy on the eye. They don't change their kit a lot. When they know they're playing well, they don't change anything. You know what you're going to get. Their rhythms stay within themselves. Ted this weekend, his rhythm has been as good as I've ever seen it.
100.
He hasn't had that rushed
167.
follow-through dart without the aiming point of it. He's stuck to it and it works so well.
83. Ted, you require 100.
I said it would be a moment of brilliance that would have to separate these guys for a 2-leg gap. This 104 would be just that. Still possible. Not anymore. And Ricky Evans can break straight back again.
40. Ricky require 84.
Is it going to be the ball? Yes.
50.
And once again, he's missed it.
Ted, you require 64.
And he was further away with that attempt than he was with the previous one.
Evetts has the best of order from the crowd. He has 2 darts, double 8, and only needs the one. Phenomenal finishing from Edward Evetts.
Game on. 100.
And here he is competing in his first ever third round match on the European Tour, and he's 1 leg away from a first ever European Tour quarter final. Ted Evetts, a 2-time winner on the development tour this year.
I've got to say, I'm not sure if he's called Edward. I'm just saying that because Ted Hankey was Edward Hankey. He might be a Theodore.
180.
Might be like Keanu Reeves in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Ted Theodore Evetts.
78.
Yeah, Ricky needs that hat-trick of legs to survive this game. He is capable of putting in that sort of spurt. It's very doable because he has 2 holes to do, and that solitary break. This is the building block. Ball.
142.
Closer. Getting closer.
Getting very close, yeah. And that, had it gone, I mean, okay, he might win this leg and probably will win this leg, but that could have just given him that catalyst, perhaps, that he needs to just force the issue once again, force the hand of Ted Evetts, who no doubt, I think, will be feeling a little bit hot under the collar here as he closes in.
100.
Great toss.
Ricky required 25.
Because he knows until that final dart goes in, until that winning double is played, he's not there. And Ricky Evans isn't there yet either, but he is now. It's 5-4, on we go, but it's Evetts throwing first here. Big moment in his career.
Oh, the last dart from both guys on the last visit there. Phenomenal stuff. Ted Evetts could barely see that treble 20. It could have been huge if Ricky had missed that double 8 that was shielded by his second dart.
100.
Just goes to show that these guys really are pinpoint today.
Well, if Evetts does win this and goes through, it may also
60.
spur him on to perhaps raise his game on the Pro Tour. He's obviously won his tour card at the end of last year. Hasn't gone beyond the last 32 of any of the Pro Tour events so far this year. He's had a few first and second round defeats as well. And maybe, just maybe, this could be the thing that makes the difference for him. This experience could really just take him to that next level.
134.
As well as giving him the ranking money that will make life easier as well.
95.
Just get the feeling that Ricky may have needed 2 big trebles there. Ted seems to be very composed, like he was yesterday against Johnny Clayton. He's not taking his eye off that 60.
I was just going to say, his second dart average is significantly lower than his first and third dart average. And once again, the second dart there let him down ever so slightly.
He's far enough ahead, though, to palm Ricky Evans off.
You know, there's a good 5 points between the difference there. And, you know, that doesn't seem a lot. But over the course of 9 legs and a bit so far, that can really begin to add up.
Yeah, I agree.
93.
Another good last dart from Ted.
96.
Well, he's going to have to go for some sort of insurance shot here. He may go ball or stay on the 20s, and he has done this earlier in the match, but this one is for the match.
He has a match dart. He has 2 of them. Ted Evetts looking at double 15, and once again he comes inside.
82.
And I just wonder, okay, Evans is on 150, whether the prospect of splitting that crossed his mind, given what happened before on double 15. As it is, he will get another chance
55.
because Ricky Evans is
Ted
down to
McGuire
95.
8.
Well, we know where he's going here. A big deep breath and a large exhalation from Super Ted. The crowd involved for the quarterfinals. Ted needs double 2. He's not there, and Ricky Evans is going to rue hitting that small 15 going for the bull last time round.
He's had 5 match darts and he's still not over the finish line. Double 16 he wanted, he went bullseye 13 and then
Ted McGuire 4.
couldn't find the double 16. How many more chances will Ted Evetts need and how many more will he get? That's a very edgy looking first dart. Double 1, he's in the madhouse here. And Ted Evetts comes through his first ever last 16 encounter on the European Tour to take his place for the first time in a European Tour quarter-final. Another massive achievement